However you want to do it. I told her you would prompt her. So speak into your thing when it's time and let her know.
What's your name?
Who's? Tammy.
Tammy.
Okay.
I haven't been introduced.
Oh, sorry. Tammy,
Thank you for
JC,
waiting.
Honey,
Hi,
or
Tammy.
John. Did you say we're live?
We're
Yes,
live.
you may start.
Okay, we'll call the meeting to order at 6:37-ish. Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yay!
Thank you.
Haven't done
Don't
that
get
for
to
a
do that
while.
that often. Okay, you should have a copy of the minutes from the last meeting. Any questions, comments, additions, changes?
I will make a motion to approve the minutes from July 14th.
Scott has made the motion to approve and Wes seconded. And I'm going to do a roll call vote and help Mary Ann out a little bit.
Can you
Scott?
hear us, Mary Ann?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay, Scott,
Aye.
Wes,
Aye.
Tammy,
Aye.
Linda,
Aye.
John, aye. Mr. Tillett is on the agenda this evening, and you are next. So have at it, brother.
Okay. You don't have to get on camera. You can just say it.
So what material do you have?
Everybody should have this.
So that's a proposal for the grant.
Right, but it also has the plans and the cost
Okay.
of the, doesn't have the engineering or anything on it, but
Okay. So what are you?
Yeah.
You did it. Okay. So there's the existing, this is the grant proposal is in two parts. Basically, taking the first part, and probably the most important as far as future business goes for the downtown area, is to take the sidewalk area from sometime in the early 1900s, they cut the street down to make that building. And that's created these steps in front of the stores that were not there to begin. This creates there's about 13 feet between the curb, 13'4", between the curb and the front steps of the stores there. So this creates an 8-foot patio at the level of the floor of store entrances. So ADA access. Then it takes there's a few places where steps come in. Did you?
Now go back and tell me where the 13'4" is.
Okay, the
From
13
here-
foot inside of the curb,
Okay,
the store side of the curb to the front step.
to the very front step. Okay,
So the front line of the stores is 13'4" from the inside of the curb. It varies a little bit, but not much. It's pretty steady. That creates a 5'4" walkway at the curb height, at the street level. So you have a 5'4" walkway, sidewalk all the way up.
okay.
Basically where it is now, but in the grant, that would be replaced, so it's all one level, not, there's different pieces and levels and jogs and that type of thing that sidewalks always get. So you would have a 5'4" wide sidewalk at that height, and then retaining wall, and then at the level of the floor of the stores, with some slope for rain and that kind of thing, you would have a patio with a railing. So the first part of the grant gets us the wall, the brick face, the all new concrete, retaining wall, and basically a patio at the higher thing. The only place that the patio is less is for walkways for the store entrances and where the steps penetrate. There's steps on the south end. At the north end, there is a walk from the existing walk that goes through. We have full approval from Benner, Hummel and Benner, to put a graduated walk up to the height of it'd have to be about 16, 18 feet long. And that'll come up to that new ADA level. That would have railings on both
Where would
sides.
that start actually,
That
Dan?
would start north of the building in the green space.
Okay,
So it actually start in the green space, pick up the sidewalk, the existing city sidewalk, and with a gradual curve, gradual curve, and come into that height. And that establishes that height. So that's an ADA access to all the stores. Then at the south end, there's a set of stairs, and then one or two places, I think on that one, it shows two places where there's other stair access breaks in that, so people can come up partway down to the stairways. The second part of the grant is to take the storefronts and restore them to the original profile, which takes the transom lights that are over every one of those windows and doors right now, and they're covered with plywood or wood cladding. So it takes those, we're going to take the cladding off inside and out, and then they get replaced with a low E insulated glass. And the storefront windows get replaced with a low E insulated glass. All the doors would be replaced, and instead of the 6'8" doors, they would go back to the original. Original doors on that side were 8'4". The one on the meat market it used to be a double door, 2'6", 2'6", so it's 5 foot wide. For ADA, we have to have a 3 foot door, so the new doors will be 3 foot minimum in width. Some of them will have side lights. If the opening's big, we'll have a fixed side light. But all the doors will be full height. They'll have full glass in like they did originally. Back when you were a kid.
okay.
And then some repair of those, the cornice work, some repair of the cornice work, repainting, repair of that it's actually like a French Quarter little roof with an iron work underneath, where Mockney's building is. Getting that so it's shedding water and in good shape, repainting that, and then tuck pointing, doing some repair work and tuck pointing on the face of the building itself, where necessary. From a casual glance, it doesn't look real bad, but we've got a fair amount of tuck pointing and repair.
We're going to shed the water too.
These roofs right now shed right to the sidewalk.
Is that still the intention?
Yeah,
What
I
you're
don't have a
thinking?
better answer.
Okay.
If there's a storm right there where we're putting in the retaining wall, we'd tie into that if we could. I don't have anything real elaborate. A little bit for finding utilities underneath there. Usually the backhoe finds them real well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And all the property owners, you've discussed that and have letters of intent from them that they're
Yeah,
on board with this?
Yeah, so Joe Brown is fully on board. Jeff Benner's talked to Mockney. He's even at the point where he's talking about taking some of that plywood off of the boat already, to start it, even before whether we get the grant or not, just doing that on the side. So yeah, they're fully on board. I saw Joe again tonight, and he's excited. Yeah.
So have you've met with Todd and Lisa?
Met
On
with
this?
Lisa.
Well, with Todd?
No, email from him, I think Edie or somebody sent an email to him just to say, how's it going? And he said he was gonna talk to Lisa and get it going. He sent me an email.
Okay, I just wondered what kind of funding that they were going for. So are you, I
What,
guess my
sources?
question is, and John, you'll have to help me. Are you wanting the village to apply for these grants? Is that what this is?
As of right now, there's no application needed yet. So with a meeting with Lisa, she looked at the numbers, said, oh, that's not too bad. Usually that's what I say. But she said it didn't look too bad, and they were looking at different sources for it. I asked, do you need an application, a formal application? Because it would be a different application depending on the source. She said, no, we're gonna find the source, the funding, and then we'll handle it from there. That's my understanding. So she said, the proposal that I put in there is great for finding the funding. If there's more necessary, they've got to tell me.
So the grant, is it matching, is it, what?
She said that there would be some sourcing, some kind of matching on our end, but it depends on the grant itself.
So just for my clarification, the village would be applying for the grant. And if the grant was awarded, the village would be responsible for the match portion.
So in my view, from talking to different entities, DMRC,
Sure.
et cetera, the grants would come from not the village, but from other sources.
Right, but if we're applying for it, would we be on the hook for the matching part of it?
Well, I think we would determine that first and get, right now, I don't know if we need 60,000 or 10,000. Or 100,000.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say that we've got the money, don't worry about it. So I'm not gonna say that, but I am gonna say, you're not gonna sign the application until you know where the funding's coming.
Okay.
And I'm assuming, with Mantua Center, when we went for the grant for the elevator, we didn't have matching funds at that time. The application was made. We had, the trustees had a choice of taking the grant or not taking the grant. If they couldn't come up with matching funds, they would not get the grant. So that's how it worked up there. I'm not saying it's the same, but it was through time.
Sure.
But that was a township building, right?
That was a township building.
So
This is, if I could,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
this is private property,
Mhm.
and the village cannot develop private property.
Okay. What about the?
So I don't know what is required. If we were to go into a venture with them, it would probably require easements or some, I have no idea.
I think we need to wait and see what Lisa comes up with, because I'm sure she knows the status of the property, and she's not going to lead us in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the village isn't going to be able to, because I believe that whole sidewalk area from the steps on towards the building, that's all out of the public right of way. If I'm not mistaken, the public right of way goes about up to the bottom step.
Oh, okay. Oh, so your point is that. That would be-
Anything beyond the steps towards the building is purely private property, and that makes it very difficult for the village as a government entity to spend public funds to develop it. There are very limited circumstances where we can do that.
Okay.
So, like I said, let's wait and see what we see.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know what the gist of this is, but I'm assuming there's still a desire in the village's part to see that get
Yes.
approved, and if there's no financial burden on the village, that you would be considering it.
Absolutely. I think we're all in agreement on that.
I think that, I don't mean to speak for everyone, but we love what you've done already. We're excited about what you're looking to do. But we just need to understand what the financial impact to us, if any, would be.
The
So-
village's culpability.
Right.
We need
Well,
that.
obviously, if there's a grant, there, then it's time we sit down
Sure.
with whoever in the village is gonna stick the village's neck out, sit down with Todd and Lisa and maybe the people concerned in the project, and get that sorted out, you know. Does putting Manway applying for the grant, put their neck on the line for the money?
See, that's my only
Right.
hesitation. And,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I don't know, this is just me speculating, but I would assume there'd be some type of escrow that we'd be able to put funds that you guys would be willing to put towards the project into.
But there would be, there's a lot of energy and a lot of, there would be a lot of people willing to see that happen.
I think it's great.
So I think that's something that, getting matching funds, I think that's something we can do.
Are the property owners gonna have a financial stake in this thing too? Is that the plan?
I'd like to see it, but honestly, when an establishment that's open has customers coming in every day, can't even afford to replace the handrail to go up those steps in the last 5 years, and the customers have to come down to the main shop and even closer to, so they can get up those stairs. That tells me they would like to do something, but they don't have any money. I've not gotten serious about talking about money. But, you know, I see the market as being willing to put money in it. In fact, we're gonna do part of the work even before the grant comes in, because this is more for that block. It's not so we can have a business. We're gonna have a business, and then I'd love to see Manaway downtown on that east block get all the roads floating at the time, not just one.
Now, Dan, in my past life, I had worked on CDBG funding and so forth, because we used to be the title back in Florida. And the CDBG loans, we established facade loans for the private properties, and those facade loans, as they were paid off, then went back in, and others could borrow from them.
Ah,
They were
great,
doing
great.
1,500, or that may be what Lisa has in, maybe a loan type grant from CDBG money, however much they have allocated.
Okay.
My only other question is water lines and services coming out. As property owners responsible from the curb stop to the building. Is there any money in there? Or, because it's not if, it's only when they're going to tear up these services.
Sure.
And any sewer laterals that may come because of the depth.
I think I had a little bit, but not a lot.
Yeah, that's only, Mike, so you probably could miss it as you go, but you're not going to miss them all. One or two is going to get hit.
The retaining wall foot, that's gonna be at a level that we're just gonna find those.
Yeah.
So,
And hopefully they're all
Sure.
copper, because if anyone with lead, they have to be replaced.
The
that's
retaining wall
good.
footer will definitely.
I mean, you gotta go
Yeah, those are
That's
shallow
gonna be done.
services up there for water.
Yeah.
pull it
Well,
through.
you sleeve or pull through. I gotta see.
There's some curb box, the curb boxes are in that first part of this.
And then, yeah, so there'll be allocations to either totally replace that curb box, more than likely. So just-
That would be the
A
time.
few of them don't operate, and we haven't broke up the sidewalk because of that. Matter of fact, one of those 4 tenants does those quite a bit, just put on their taxes right now. Those couldn't shut them off. Yeah. It's about 10 grand.
So Dan, what is it that you're looking from us to do today? Are you just bringing this to our attention and?
So, if you don't know anything about it, that's probably not a good thing. And the mayor suggested that we let you know.
So we're just having a conversation right now. You're not looking for us to take any action.
I don't have any, I don't have any
Okay.
authority, ability, or anything like
Sure,
that.
okay. No, that's
So
great.
basically you want our support that we would, and I think we all are in agreement.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean. if
That-
gonna
that
work
we're gonna
together as a
support it,
team,
that
You're
it's-
gonna know what we're doing.
That's
Right.
perfect.
And we will be willing to send it to council once we have all the paperwork and,
I think we're just,
I don't have much.
impressed. We actually on the front end have knowledge about it as opposed to the back.
I was just gonna say that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got it right from
Right.
the man,
Right.
not like
Right.
in a month.
No, this is great.
Somebody else.
and he's been
walked out
trying to
the
talk to us since June.
Sure.
It just,
No, I think I think we all think it's amazing and it's great.
You tried to do this last week, but you didn't show up, so,
Yeah.
so we're gonna do it now.
Well, I knew that we'd have a new council representative that needed to
There you go.
be here for it.
Is there any kind of time frame that you know of from the regional planning on this, or they're just starting their
I'm sure by
investigation as
tomorrow we'll
to?
have some.
Okay,
I think it was a process of a couple of years of the Mantua Center. And so I'm thinking it's probably gonna be a year or two. They're always positive when you talk to them down there, but, you know, it's kind of like predicting rain, only without any instruments.
Yeah, because there's that, what is that, where did Garrettsville get their money? It's that semi-annual funding, trying to remember what it was called. It's something that only comes out every so many years, and it's through this state. I'll have to look in my paperwork.
How old is it?
Garrettsville applied for it after their fire and got several $100,000.
I'm thinking CDBG money. Community
And it
Development
might have been
Block
through CDBG, but there was a different arm of it, or whatever you want to call it. I'm not sure. I'll talk to Lisa tomorrow, because I remember reading it in the paper and calling Lisa at the time when they received the money. And I said, oh, is this something we can go for? Because it's only so often the money becomes available.
Right, yeah, so Lisa said something about the applications, when I called them to see what it would take to apply for a grant or just get the ball rolling, that was, I think, in June, and they'd already received and sorted out, maybe it was the end of June, major determinations kind of.
For this
what they were
year,
gonna go with. So that starts the thing rolling for at least a year, and might be a 2-year cycle before they look at it again. That, on that particular fund. There's also state funds, so the state senator, CS face, Eklund, yeah, he's timed out. So, but he was a great help on the center and got more funds. So, whatever the new senator is, we'll have to.
Well, I do know that Congressman Joyce, I haven't gotten a final answer, is trying to set up a meeting with me on Monday and wants me to show him something. And so I thought I would take him downtown and show him what's been done to 44 Restoration. And, and I thought I probably have color photos of these somewhere, but if I could keep these.
Yeah,
here, you can have Randy.
But just
Thanks,
show
Jess.
them what we're working on with the community to try and make it
Yeah.
more
yeah, it'd be
inviting.
Great, and then the candidate for one of the parties, I won't bring parties up here, but said he wanted to, there was a kind of a Zoom, get to know the candidate, said he wanted to stop in Mantua, it was for Rotary, so he wants to meet the Rotary Club in Mantua sometime or something. Of course, it's a campaign.
Yeah,
I would say
I
that's it.
spoke to Tom Queen. He was at the gathering that was in the upstairs of Restoration 44
Oh, yeah. Okay.
from Congressman Joyce's office. So,
Oh, right. Okay.
yeah, I talked to him last week and he said, oh, he wants to come out on the 31st. And I think that's Monday, isn't it? Next Monday.
Yeah.
Monday's the 24th, the following Monday.
Following Monday. Sorry, 2 weeks. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah, I mean, if you think there's a benefit to having some of the R44 people there, I think Scott's there most days. He works Zoom all the
Yeah,
time.
as soon as he confirms the date, then I'll
Okay.
let you know.
Yeah, I think we're all in favor of it. There's absolutely no reason
there's
not
no
to be. It
Yeah.
would just, it's such an improvement, it'd make everything look good. The only thing I would ask is, if you do have conversations of some sort, emails start flying or something with regional planning or wherever, if you would be so kind as to carbon copy us,
Yeah.
so that we can stay in the loop, just know where everything's going.
Yeah.
And then,
We would like to know from you.
Okay.
I mean, what I'm saying is we don't like to be backdoored. We would like to know from you.
Point of
Directly.
contact, just
On the
Just
mayor, yeah.
mayor. Okay.
Yeah, it's just easier because then it's not the game of telephone. We can
Yeah.
hear what you
Well, just
know, and that's it.
Just about everything has been.
Right.
And I've shared everything that I've had
Oh,
so
yeah,
far.
no,
so.
she
As soon
does.
as
She
as
passes
soon as
it
she
all
gets it,
on.
she passes it right out, that's great.
Contrary to what some people might think.
We, it's just easier if we know your facts and not what everybody else wants us to believe.
Yeah, that's fine.
So,
Yeah, if you distribute my phone number, if people have questions, I can answer. Or I can make up answers. It's political season right now.
And that would, yeah, that would be perfect for this time of the year.
Yeah, and give you my,
we wouldn't know that.
Okay, any other questions, comments?
No, I'm on
I
board. In
think it's
fact,
great.
I will reach out
It's
to
great.
Lisa and Todd by phone tomorrow, and then
Okay.
I will
let me know.
shoot
if there's
everybody
any-
an email and let them know the status of
Yeah,
where
I
they're,
mean-
what they're thinking.
Yeah,
you know.
I think it depends on which funding source.
Which
they're
pot of
looking
money is available.
at. Yeah, and it also depends, that'll also determine, the hoops that we have to jump through.
Right.
Meaning, I'll kind of hold the hoop for you.
You better hold it low if it's for me.
Right. Okay, that's it?
Great.
That's
Yeah,
That's
I'm
it.
dismissed.
we're excited for that.
Yeah, we're
Thank you,
excited.
We
Dan.
really are, Dan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dan, in your packet for John for the mural, you included addresses of everybody with that's in 250 feet and all that stuff.
You kidding me?
If
That's
it's
a mural. Is there another way to handle this mural stuff? Because this is
At,
something.
at
we're
this
doing for
point,
this.
at this
No.
point, the legislation that we have on the books is what it is.
Okay.
And if it's oversized, it's going to probably require a variance. That's why I encouraged you to wait until we see what third reading and public hearing brings on it to,
Oh, well, I talked to the group and they'd like to get it done right away.
Okay.
Which, that means permit, but like to get it done right away so that we think it's wise to have a permit for a mural that the village approves, have that permit not be so expensive because it kind of squelches beautification of the downtown. I really
that's
believe-
why we have, that's what we are proposing to council at this point is
Yeah.
you would pay the full amount up front, but you would be reimbursed and anything but the cost
Yeah,
of doing it. So it would probably reduce it to, instead of $150, it would reduce it to 50. But we would, and it would be up to the discretion as long as it's a nonprofit organization that's doing it and not a private entity. That makes a big difference because we only went with nonprofits to do the,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
Right, right.
at this point, it's gonna be R44, so, but I did not see notification of property owners, but we can do something.
Would it be much different than the property owners that we already have on file?
It shouldn't be.
I don't think. It's
About
right
across the street. Yeah,
So we already have them, right?
yeah.
I might have.
Well, I mean, for the last mural,
I mean, it should be the same from the last mural, you would have to
and
think.
even if it
but-
wasn't for that, it would be for the,
right across
for
the
the
street.
bank. 'Cause we have-
Or for Restoration 44.
Yeah.
I mean,
True. So we should have them on file.
yeah, we should have that on file.
Okay, well, let me know what I gotta do, so,
Okay.
We'll expedite as fast as we can.
Yeah,
okay, yeah,
Yeah, we might have John open it up so we can take a look at it. If it needs to be rejected because of size, then we can say it needs a variance right off the bat, right?
Was it the size of the building? Size?
I haven't seen the drawing. We haven't.
it's the side,
It's
the
this
tapered
side of Haley,
side.
it's this side of the 44 Restoration, right?
yeah. You,
We haven't, no,
Back up.
we've
It's
never
the bank
received
side.
anything.
it took me a
So
while
what?
to try to
mean,
get it
It
too.
would be.
Terry had it evidently.
Terry dropped it off with no drawing and an incomplete application, so Mary Ann contacted him, he came and picked it up. And we've never gotten it back.
Unless it's in John's hands now.
Now it's in John's hand.
Well, I thought Holly had turned it in, but that's,
Oh, that's nice.
So it's just a continuation.
Yeah.
Oh, it'll be hard to see during the winter. Okay.
So it's a continuation of the
Right.
theme that's across the street.
Where are they fishing?
No, it's quite all right.
We're fishing
saw
in the
John's.
river.
It's
The
cool.
river.
There's a river in
Yeah,
Mantua?
it's like the one John told me.
Yeah, like I said, Mantua is the only place that would put 2 factories on their river.
I don't think.
Yeah, that's great.
Do you want this copy?
If John has one.
John's got a copy. I'm only giving him one, those things are big bucks.
It's fine.
I
Okay.
would say we want 14, but,
Right,
Stop.
I-
We'll
that's
discuss
all I
that
said.
later.
That's all I said.
We'll discuss it later.
It's bigger than 24 feet, right?
That's about, I should have like 36 on there, 32. It's like 32 feet.
It needs a
It's gonna need a variance.
Yeah, he has everything done here. Matter of fact, he has when I reviewed the first one, I put by late sign ordinance 10 by 4, 40 feet only. Even if it's 36, it's more than 24. So yeah.
Well, it would be aggregate signage anyhow, so we're well above that.
Right.
So,
So, yeah, okay. There's 2 checks, one for the zoning, one for the,
For the variance, yeah, you got it already, so. Okay. We'll get you the receipts and go from there.
okay, I'll back out.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Dan.
We'll see.
Thank you, Dan.
So we need to get a hold of the chair of BZA to send out the notifications.
when did they vote on that chair? I don't remember voting on that chair.
Yeah, I was questioning that myself.
Or was it
They're
just,
supposed to
or is that
vote
just
on a
appointed?
chair. No, you're supposed to
Every
vote.
year.
You're supposed to vote on a new chair every year.
Yeah,
Just like this one.
I
okay.
don't know if the BZA has that rule. I don't, it's in our zoning code somewhere, but I'm not sure if it has
Because-
annually or if it's.
Because
just
sometimes
big
they
one.
don't meet all the time. I think at the meeting that we had right before that you weren't on it yet, they voted him in again.
Yeah, he's been chair for a while.
Couple
Since Don-
years,
Since Don Schilling left, right? Or-
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
If you would like me to handle contacting him tomorrow and tell him we have a variance,
Michelle, is that a conflict of interest? Vice President of the DMRC?
He has variance.
Is he
and
vice
zoning.
president?
It's
Or has
both
he
in there,
been,
right?
he's still vice president?
he's vice president of the
If
DMRC.
it's a DMRC project.
It's not though, he said it's restoration 44.
It's gonna be private, then I don't think it would be considered.
Okay.
a conflict.
So him being the chair of the committee is not
You'll
a
do it?
conflict?
You want me to?
For DMRC, but if DMRC technically has nothing to do with the mural,
Okay.
then it's not their project, they're not sponsoring it.
Okay.
It seems like they're separate. If they started, if they were overlapping, then we'd have a conversation.
Well, that was what prompted changing the legislation, because when we said about when they were questioning the cost.
I know, yeah, if DMRC. were
And
the
they,
applicant,
and they,
it would be
and
my
Tuma,
problem.
yeah, Tuma said, well, DMRC did it, and I says, no, Edie and Jeff applied
It's
for
gonna
the
have to be one way or the
application.
other. They're gonna have to decide which one they want.
Right,
Yeah.
I mean, what they do outside these doors, if DMRC reimburses a private property owner, that's between them, but until this legislation changes, we can't,
Oh,
we have to
absolutely.
follow what we
I
have.
mean, this legislation isn't gonna pass till October anyway.
Right, and they,
And
sounds
they
like
wanna
they
get it
were,
done before that.
Right.
Is what they said, yeah.
well, we've been holding them up, according to the DMRC minutes.
Tough.
Said we
Oh,
haven't even
gosh.
gotten it.
That's okay.
Okay, sorry, moving on.
Planning old different.
Okay.
Everybody on time.
Mr. True, zoning inspector's report,
He gave it to us, oh,
turned in and on file somewhere.
there. You have a copy. It was laying up here. Remember, guys? It was on,
Oh, yeah, some, actually, on the email back.
Oh, that was, okay. Yeah.
On the email itself, yes.
I don't know where it went, but
yeah, it was sitting here.
it's right here.
Yeah. Everybody has that? The email?
I can pull it up.
Yeah, we've got an occupancy permit for an Italian food sub shop going in, no name yet. Sign for advanced rehab to replace an existing sign that was taken down. Notice of violation, Portage County residential construction without required plan approvals, so on and so forth at 10730 Main Street. Notice of violation for Portage County residential construction for various things at 4587 Franklin Street. And a change of use for 4664 Prospect, first floor.
That's where the jam shop's going in at the new, at the old suntan place.
Oh, the old Hamels building.
Yes. Have you heard back from Feather and Forge yet?
Sent a notice out, days ago, I don't know. See, they opened and,
Yeah, they've been out.
they
they're-
didn't get a sign permit or any of the business regulations.
Yeah.
Didn't submit anything yet.
Yeah, well, the only thing they have submitted is where to send the water bill to.
Okay, and there's also the note about a discussion item of a possible business along the river, nursery retail.
Yes. There is a gentleman who may have that under contract. And he wants it, from Butch's Welding, back in the back, is
Yeah,
the
the
flag
car-
lot.
Behind the car
Yeah,
wash.
Behind the car,
behind the
okay.
wash. And he's looking at putting a nursery, a small 12 by 36, like a hoop building for his nursery, and actually growing and selling trees. It's called, it's in your packet, it's called Lucky Bonsai Limited. He currently has a business, his name's Josh Oldham, and he wants to bring this, he has a option on that piece right now, he has an option. He eventually will have a bigger building, but right now he just wants to put a nursery, and we've got to look at that. I've talked to Michelle briefly, being a business and everything else, but just have to check the setbacks and everything, make sure it's outside of the flood zone or any requirements of it in the flood zone by the building department themselves. But, it looks like a good use for that property, if it's just small trees and nursery items. That's what he intends to do.
Certainly better than a motorcycle dirt track.
Yes. Yeah, he said that, and he eventually wanted to put maybe a canoe livery if he got permission, do that maybe down in the future, but right now it's just a nursery, it's only selling trees and plants. And then maybe another little shed, take care of the money and stuff, but that's at a later date, you go through all the proposals and so. But he wanted me to run by you guys first, and that's why, you guys do have this letter, correct?
I don't think
I
we ever
didn't see
got
that
it.
one.
See, I had a copy machine, right?
So it's not too far along, like to the point where you'd know where access to this facility would be?
No, well, the access to the facility is the road next to the car wash. That's the only access to the property.
Where the old trailer is, just
Yeah,
That's the access property. And I told him I'd run it by the planning commission, and that way.
Car wash
you know, as
property,
we
or
got
is
the
it
doctor
on-
and see
I'm
what
gonna
you
draw
guys
you
want.
a little thingy.
Were you putting in a parking lot? Like paving and that?
Well, he'd have to go through a site plan and everything else.
Right.
Here. And possibly not, because there's a lot of repair and setback issues. And this would have to go through the site plan with our engineer also.
Okay, here's the car wash and the entrance to the car wash, okay? Right next to it is
There's already,
Is a
the whole
P-
area is parking deck increases right now.
this
It's
property back
gravel.
here.
I guess I don't
It's actually
It's
remember.
just kind of a
Off of
little,
Main Street. Okay, don't remember it.
it doesn't have enough frontage for an address, but
there used to be a trailer that sat in that driveway and it rotted
Yeah.
and rotted and rotted. And, oh, by the way. the
yeah,
planning
like where the
commission
car
got
wash
removed.
is, there's a driveway and then there's
Sat there for
like
years.
a V kind of thing that
Do you
spreads.
remember that?
It's
Yeah, I don't-
it's not like
forever,
50
but
feet
we
or
got it
100
moved.
foot of
We
frontage.
don't, hey, we
It's
don't
probably
do
like
anything.
driveway width.
Okay, I don't remember the thing. I don't.
Oh, yeah, it was a big semi
last
trailer, just
proposal
sat
that we
there
had
rotting
there-
away, falling apart.
Yeah, remember it looked like somebody had put the spray foam on the outside?
I didn't take my Prevagen today. So,
But the planning commission got it moved, so.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right.
okay.
The last proposal we had for there, the gentleman wanted to put some type of RV storage slash recreational work facility. And he was putting it too close to the river. And I even asked him to switch it around and have it instead of vertical to the river, horizontal. And he wasn't willing to do that. So that's why the other deal fell through. He said,
I'll
"Given that
scan this and
floodplain,
send
you
it
can't
to
build there."
Let me see that one up real quick.
I know I read it in your office. You gave it to me one day, and maybe I was supposed to take it.
Well, I got it the same day that the meeting was, like minutes before.
Oh, and then we never had the meeting.
Exactly. And I just
'Cause-
assumed.
Because Wes didn't show up.
That's right.
I heard it.
It's a little early, but that's all right. I'm just joking.
Okay,
Okay, anything else, sir? Questions, comments for Mr. Drew?
The only other thing, sorry, I did forget one more thing. With the veterinarian has submitted preliminary plans for her building outside the facility. She wants to have it in another individual building, whereas when people bring in their cats and so forth, and it's time for euthanization and so forth, a more private room to do that instead of bringing them to the regular office.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually kind of a pet care / building, and she submitted plans. I just picked them up at 5:15, but I was doing 2 other things, so I haven't looked at them. I'll look at it preliminary, and then I'll have the engineers look at them, just preliminary, they'll have to go through a full site plan review and engineering.
Okay.
They originally wanted a modular building, that was too expensive, so we have plans from Ted Rampert sitting on my desk. So that'll be coming to probably next one.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, we're gonna move on. New business. Review of Karen Stussman application for a lot combination. John, you wanna take care of that explanation, please?
Basically, everything's conforming. Michelle and I both have reviewed this and looked at it. And as you know, she had an accessory structure on a separate lot, which is illegal to have an accessory structure without a principal building on the lot. So now with her building and the lot she has, all 3 should be combined as well. And that's what she's doing basically by that. Changing of deeds, they're quite confusing to read, even when you're trying to trace them. They go back to a lot of the old sublots and the old owners and so forth. But something that I wasn't real familiar with, so usually they change all that and keep on going, but it's permissible, it's a way to do it, and it's all legal. I conferred with our legal counsel.
Yeah, it looks like,
So that would eliminate the problem as far as.
you know, she still has to get a permit for the accessory structure after she gets her lots combined.
I hope that her attorney told her that, but.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, then if we're gonna agree to it, we need to make that conditional.
well, yeah, because on
I
here, he
mean-
has checked a non-refundable application fee of $20.
He does have a-
But that's for the review of the combination,
Well,
right?
that combination, yeah.
Yeah. Michelle's
The
talking about a zoning
accessory structure
permit.
Is a separate application.
So if they make that, you make that a condition. Approval, then. No, we have to do.
Well, I think you just do your lot combination and just have her apply for that, but she, as long as she doesn't think that getting the combination is the end of the story. She still has.
Yeah, this is just to combine the lots, and now we need the structure.
Okay, then we'll open for discussion on this, and from my perspective, we'll make that caveat, okay, here's this, but you still have to obey the rules and regulations of the village for the accessory building that's caused all the problems.
Right, because this doesn't show us the dimensions of the structure that she put up.
No, it just has the structure.
Right.
Here, and it's compliance all the lots.
I don't have a problem with it if you're
And
ready.
she's still gonna have some issues with D&H Brown property.
And that's gonna be a civil
That's a
matter.
private issue. Because when vehicles parked there, they can't get out that door because they have.
Or get in their doors.
Yes, correct.
But it appears that it's at least 36 inches away from the building, so that makes it all right when you're in village center. Because there's a 0 in village center. But they are blocking an entrance, an exit.
Whoever thought of this village center? Michelle?
Does that make it a fire hazard? I mean, is it because it's not, there's no egress then from the basement because it's blocked? Is it a fire issue at that point?
I don't know if there is an entrance to that basement except from the outside.
Well, there's a door there.
It was a
There's
delivery-
like
No,
a-
I know,
it was a
but I mean, I
delivery
don't think there's an
entrance.
entrance to the basement from a dwelling or from a building above.
I bet-
think it's,
I bet there is.
you
It
think?
might be blocked off, but I bet there is.
Because if there is, then it is a fire hazard. If there's an entrance from inside of that building,
Which building is that? Is
That
that
would-
Steve's office or is that the barber
It-
shop?
I think it's the
barber
barber shop.
The
Yeah.
barber shop
What's-
controls the boiler for the upstairs.
And the boiler's in the basement. So they have to have access to get to the boiler.
Right.
But I think it's through the basement, but there could be a door.
An old
somewhere in-
entrance. An old door that's blocked off.
Yeah,
I only remember
I assume
doors
that
on
there
the
was-
outside. I don't- yeah.
Well, that
I would
goes,
think it would be a fire hazard if you've got a block where somebody couldn't get out if they were. Or could firemen get in if there was a fire?
Not when the vehicles are there.
And how do those doors, they operate on hinges or they slide? Remember the old ones?
If I,
They slide, now if they slide, he was still operating open.
I don't think so. I think it's
I think they're
almost
too
like a
big
livery
barns.
staple type thing.
Exactly.
I don't know
I
if they
think it
open in or
was.
out.
yeah, I don't either. I thought they opened out.
I've never been in the basement.
It's, yeah.
Commercial property.
Right. Right, but that has nothing to do with the
Right,
lot
right,
combination.
Right, right.
Yeah,
but
so
I just-
So
there's
that
one
stuff
more-
we'll have to address when you get the application for the carport.
And then, probably something to talk, with that would be to confer with Chief Rosa from the fire department, get his input on that.
Because they go in and do their inspections.
Right, that's what
So-
I would think, I mean, that's a backup on that.
Yeah, she still may end up having problems with that thing.
Yeah.
Okay, any other discussion on the application for the lot split combination?
No, if they're doing it to bring it into conformity or to make the work conform, I think it's fine.
Do we need to do a vote on that to approve? Okay, do I have a motion, please?
I make a motion that we approve the lot combination at 4664 Prospect Street.
Second.
And Wes seconded. Okay, let me go back here. Scott,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes?
Wes,
Yes.
Tammy,
Yes,
and John says yes. So it's approved
Okay,
as
then
presented.
you have to have a copy that you sign as planning chair.
Okay. I'll do that.
So we just need to contact them and tell them they need to apply for a permit for the structure, accessory building, I guess.
Well, no, it's not a done deal.
Yeah, the only thing that's done is the lot
The lot
combination.
split.
Right.
Or the-
Yeah, it's not always easier to get forgiveness than it is
Right.
permission.
Here, I haven't written on this, so if you want to sign that one, it can go back.
Planning Commission review date.
John will sign everything.
Scott R. Weaver. Okay, there you go.
You don't know what you're signing. Linda's just pushing papers in front of you.
It was a divorce decree. Okay, we're going to move on to review of ordinance 2020-31. Council sent it back for review of section 610.05 C and D. So if council wants to
Everybody
explain to
has a
me,
copy of that?
I don't have the legislation.
Well, I understand there's one council member that was primarily concerned about this, is that right?
Yeah.
Here, Michelle printed it
I
off,
guess we should
and
probably
here's the
let them
I just have that,
legislation.
I'm sorry.
You do have
I
that?
do that, I just like.
Yeah, you guys don't have the ordinance. I mean, you and I have the ordinance.
Mhm. Yeah, Wes.
So there was one person that was primarily upset about or concerned about this.
Yes.
Let's let them speak.
Yeah, it's pretty tough to review it without knowing what the complaint was.
Are they
Well,
here?
no, that's why I put what the complaint was on the sections. So if you look,
Maybe we should just give her a conference call. I don't know.
She can join Zoom next month. We can't pass
You
it
know-
next month anyway, because the public hearing's in October.
Can you fill me in on what the issue is?
when we do a site plan review that, and under 610, there's about 18 different questions that the applicant needs to address. In some cases, it doesn't apply to them. And if they put NA and can explain to us why it's not applicable, then we move on to the next question. Well, we had somebody apply for, to build a house. And they turned in plans and we said, you need to go with 610 and follow it completely through. They turned in the drawing of the house that wasn't stamped by an engineer. And here it says they have to. We also used to require, in the legislation we have in place now, is to reduce how many, used to be
14.
14 full-size sets of plans. So we reduced it to the one full set of, so many sets of plans, I don't remember, two,
Okay, right.
however
Four.
it's broken down in here. And then we could do electronic. Well, they were gonna go to the state because the state and the building department doesn't require a stamp. Well, we do. Then there was another section,
This ordinance has been in effect for a number of years,
Oh, my goodness.
but it
Yeah.
hit the pocketbook of one of our council members. And they are showing, they're having a concern.
because we're keeping people from wanting to come in the village and,
Can I make a suggestion?
We table it until the council representative is present.
yeah, so they
Or
want,
we
they
as
want.
the planning
Yeah,
commission
they
just
wanted
say
number
we're not gonna
15
change it.
addressed, Tammy, that says, professional engineer and architect seals,
And I'll do that
Uh,
Apple next month.
the list of everybody within 250
counts.
feet. There was just, and like I say, if you had your codified, whatever sections I listed on here are the sections that she was questioning. All of C, which is,
Which is the 18 points of interest to,
yeah,
and
And
then
she
the
didn't feel
conversion
all
of a
those were
single-family
necessary.
dwelling to two-family dwelling. Yeah, I mean, I thought we went over this.
Yeah, you know what? This is my fault. I shouldn't have, I should not have voted yet. You know what? This is my fault. I think that we should just
Maintain it as existing.
maintain it as it was written by a group of people, 20 years ago, who spent a lot of time writing this book, and we're not gonna change everything every time somebody has a problem with it.
And council has the opportunity to amend anything we
Council
forward,
can
correct?
certainly amend it
Sure.
on its own.
I'm
I think there's
fine with
rules
that.
about how many votes it needs to pass if it's not based on a recommendation of the planning commission. I haven't looked that up. But planning commission has the right to take no action tonight, make no recommendations. I mean, you know what the request is?
Well, not according to the, what the agenda is. It just says review section 61005 and C and D. I mean, we did that 2 months ago or a month ago. And I thought we had a pretty extensive discussion.
We did have an extensive discussion.
And
So-
we made it to where an applicant would have a significantly less expensive,
Right.
Yeah,
yes.
and I'm fine with that.
I think it's great, but we proposed it, they rejected it. I don't know what else to change.
Well, we can send it back as is and they can
I
vote
say
on
we
it.
do. Okay.
Okay, does that need to be,
I make a
You don't
motion.
need to do anything.
Okay.
Take no
Okay.
action.
No, we're making the recommendation to send it back as is.
Okay,
Okay.
do that too.
I make a recommendation to send it back as is.
I
will
second.
Go ahead.
I second it.
Mayor seconded, okay. Scott,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes,
Wes,
Yes.
Tammy,
Yes.
John? Yes. All ayes,
Hi.
hi.
all yeses.
Marion's diligently taking notes.
Hi, Marianne.
Hi, Marianne.
Okay,
Hello.
landmark committee request. Huh?
She said hello.
Oh, it's kind of one of those, like watching
You
the
can't see
news.
her, I can see her. I didn't
Okay.
bring the big TV, I just didn't feel like dragging it over here.
Okay.
Landmark committee request for review of street post signs and quote. John was going to contact District 4.
And I have, and I'm actually gonna be golfing with the head of District 4 on Friday, so I'll put another little whisper in his ear.
Okay.
His minions have not replied to me.
Okay.
Yeah, just get what you can.
Well,
because
quickly,
It's a great
so-
idea.
Tammy, the square concrete rectangular street signs, the white ones,
Obelisks.
Yes.
huh?
Obelisks.
Obelisk.
Obelisk?
Almost, yeah.
Okay. A committee of people went out and looked to see at all the ones that needed replaced, and we got quotes on it and submit that to us. And they are not eligible. If we don't replace them, they're fine. But if we want to start replacing them, John, I'll let you
They're
explain.
not safe. The concrete post in the right of way is a hazard to most small cars and plastic. They have to be breakaway posts. So it has to be some type of breakaway. And there probably is a way to get to very good looking historic structure, just follow. It's on, most of them are on 44 here, so it's ODOT's anyways. So once we get that approval, see what we move forward. There'll probably be some combination of a wood plastic or something that looks just like it, and very replica. That's what we're trying to get permission.
We'll see if we can find you a copy of the correspondence we got,
Financial guarantees that were provided
so you can have it to read.
For-
for the two site plans.
I think I've got it here somewhere.
They were provided.
Yes, I got letters from both the banks.
Okay.
'Cause that's what we decided.
That's perfect. I just wanted to make sure that it was followed through on.
Yes.
Could you forward those to the committee members?
Yeah.
I thought I did.
What,
No.
what?
Okay.
I'm
No,
sorry.
I did
I
not see
was
that.
digging, looking.
That's, yeah, great question. I totally forgot about that.
Okay. They are probably downstairs in the files. Let me write myself a note for
Financial
Marianne.
guarantees on the site plan reviews we did.
Oh,
Remember, that was a bone of contention.
Marianne,
Yeah.
remind me tomorrow to get into
Good one.
Tumas Tabakan and I can't remember her first name, Julia Stom's files downstairs and pull out the financial guarantees and make copies of them to send to the members.
Okay.
Thank you.
do you still have a copy of this that you can forward to Tammy so she can see what we're talking about? This is on the signpost?
It should be in my email somewhere.
Okay. Okay, moving on again. Edie Benner requests a review of 450.09 lighted signage. Discussable on possible changes. Open for discussion.
Do you have your book with you? I can loan Tammy mine.
I do. And if you want to pass that down, then Tammy can read the letter that Edie sent. Yeah, we did do some discussion on that in July.
Mhm.
Get back to it. Questions, comments?
I do believe that we do need to make it to where a sign does need to be front lit, that it cannot be backlit. If we're gonna maintain a historic downtown, I think that's something that's important. Where you're gonna have the problem is, obviously with the gas station with Circle K, you know, they've already established that with the bank. But I think if we allow that to perpetuate, I mean, we're one step away of looking like Vegas, in my opinion. Just,
Well, any of the, I mean, like the buildings Dan was talking about, I can't believe that anyone would put a backlit sign on any of those buildings. But no, I agree. You know, banks are banks. I mean, you know,
and
every bank backlights
Yeah.
a sign. You know, we got UH. They're not gonna change.
Right.
You know, the gas station, they're that way all over the country. You know what I
but
mean?
we
But-
can put a line in the sand and say this far, no further,
Right.
Right, if you change your sign out, it needs to be with the new code,
and that's great. Yeah.
and, you know,
I mean, you just wish everybody would follow Restoration 44.
Right.
You know, I mean, that's the hope.
That's the goal.
That's the goal.
and well, why couldn't you be that way, like when you go to Santa Fe, New Mexico, all McDonald's isn't bright colors, it's their colors. You know, why couldn't we say that?
We can.
And we could probably do something that, a change of ownership in the building is
Change
gonna,
of sign.
is gonna trigger this, right?
Well, I suppose we have a section on pre-existing non-conforming uses that allows certain amount of repair work or replacement, or like for like, that doesn't trigger the requirement to abandon the
To update.
non-conforming use. But, I mean, if somebody were putting a new faceplate in a backlit sign because of a new ownership without changing the structure,
Well, Circle K becomes 7-Eleven.
exactly. You might run into the issue that that's an existing sign and they're not changing the structure. And what is it, chapter 11, not chapter 11. It's in there somewhere. We'd have to look at it for next month before we decide what we're gonna, you know, how far you're gonna go with it.
I think based on what Wes said, you're really interested in
The,
prospect or
well, you know, I'd say I'm interested in Village Center specifically. I
most
mean, I
likely.
don't think anybody wants a lit sign on Maple, right? A backlit sign on Maple. I don't think anybody wants a backlit sign a couple streets down off of Main.
But Maniline could put one in. A new company comes into Maniline and puts one in down there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And that's why I say this.
Or
far,
on
no further.
Orchard Street.
Yeah.
But that's an industrial area too. Well, I say that we all review this section and we'll go through it again next month.
Mhm.
Make notations of what you think you want to discuss and change.
Section 45014, Michelle, is maintenance. Is that what you were thinking, maybe?
Is that the non-conforming section?
No, it's not non-conforming, but it's talking about maintenance and what
Yeah,
can
I'm
be
gonna pull
changed
those
and
out.
not changed.
I'll pull out the non-conforming part and you guys can look at the sign part.
What section are you in?
If you look at 45014,
Oh, I thought you said 19, I'm sorry.
the maintenance of signs, and then,
Alteration and removal of
yeah, it talks
non-conforming
about
sign is 16.
alterations.
You have a 16?
450.16 is
Alteration.
alteration
Oh,
and removal
that's
of non-conforming
non-conforming.
sign.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't exist because
It
my
doesn't-
book only goes to
The
15.
chair doesn't, it's not in his book.
Well,
I was shortchanged again. That must be something new, huh?
I don't,
I think that, Wes, didn't we do this 4 or 5 years ago? The
yeah,
non-conforming signs.
yeah, we've redone, so it never
Yeah,
got put in this book.
They never
We-
got
we-
put in that book.
We did something.
Did we?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we went through that whole section and
yeah.
Well, somebody
changed
didn't
some
do
wording and
something, 'cause
stuff. I
didn't.
remember
yeah.
that. That's when I was taking the minutes.
So we did do something.
Who would have thought?
Right, you know.
Okay, can you make sure that whoever's in charge around there to get me a copy of that?
That would be the clerk. She's the keeper of all this
Okay.
stuff.
You know what, I think Michelle took our, didn't you copy us pages when we changed all that and we put
Yeah, I
them in?
did, I made replacement pages and emailed them to everybody,
Yeah.
I think, maybe I even made paper pages, I
I
don't
think
know.
you did make paper
Way
pages
back.
and we put them all in.
They have them online. I mean, that's where mine is. I mean, that's where.
Yes, the online version is correct.
I'm too old for that. Okay, so that's assigned homework for everybody.
Well, and I think we batted that around quite a while about the backlit signs. And I think we whittled it down to what it is now. I think we took a lot of stuff out of it.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
We did that. Right.
Well, your books probably say when the changes were made, maybe.
Okay.
They should.
Okay, we're gonna slide into old business.
So 2017, it looks like.
Really?
We
We
Well,
might have started
well,
talking
you-
about it way before then.
You were on planning in 17.
Yeah.
Why don't you
I was in
remember
planning or I was on council?
both?
No, I was never on planning as a council.
Oh, I thought he was.
No, it wasn't.
Oh.
Ben was.
Oh, that's right.
That's when things got
Okay.
done.
That's what things went down.
Okay, old business, work on what the fee for rental inspections will be and should the inspector be certified, licensed per council's request. Also working on boarding houses and multi-family homes in rural residential. Kim Yule
Mhm.
to attend meeting on hold due to COVID-19.
Do you want me to call her and have her come? She had, I know that I had given it to you, sent it to all of you. Her proposal.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I never.
You
printed
need
it
me to
off.
resend the proposal
their
to you?
first proposal,
I've got,
weren't they gonna send us another
She had
proposal?
sent us the first one and we thought it was a little pricey. And then she had recommended something about, Wes, I hope it triggers your memory. And say if it's like the lamplighter, instead of going $100 per apartment, it was $100 or whatever the fee was for so many square feet or something.
So we had the meeting and then we said, this is gonna be expensive. Can we get a bulk discount, right?
That's it.
Yeah, and then she said that there would be a bulk discount that if it's so many square feet, that it would be a certain price, and if they had an aggregate amount, that it would be cheaper. But I don't think she ever got us anything in writing that said
Okay,
what
let
it
me
would be.
look. 'cause
check
I-
your emails because I've got
Yeah,
something.
let me
on-
check.
Still in my email thing that was a proposal from her that you forwarded.
How do you
to
spell it? UH?
ULD.
Okay.
I don't think it
I
was
think she
overseas.
might have
I'm gonna say
given
it
me
was-
something.
it
I
was
thought I
probably
sent it
from
out, but I'll
June.
look.
West, somewhere in that world,
Okay.
maybe even May.
I will look for that and send it on to you guys. And
Should-
give her a call to see if she can come to the meeting on September 8th, September 6th, whatever day it is.
Should we start looking for somebody else? I mean, why are we just keeping our eggs in this basket? I mean, do we want to contact that guy from Wyndham again? I mean, do you still have a contact number for him?
I thought that contact had been made. He didn't want to do it
He didn't
because
wanna-
he's
he
got
didn't
too many
wanna-
irons in the fire
They
right
had too
now.
many
Oh.
irons in the fire.
Okay.
I was surprised because, Tammy, didn't you tell me that you thought that the city of Kent, correct? Is that what you
Kent
had?
has their own inspector.
For $25 a unit?
But it's probably financed through the general fund.
Maybe the base pay, yeah, or something. Yeah.
Yeah, he's
If anybody can think of somebody, feel free to call them and ask them to come to the meeting
'cause
on
we really didn't get any-
September 8th.
we didn't get any resumes from anybody
No.
that was
Let's see.
qualified. when we
right.
put the
That was
thing out.
qualified.
We had
right,
people
right.
that were willing to do it, but they didn't have any certification in any areas. And I think that's why our eggs were in one basket with Kim, because she's a realtor, so they have some kind of inspector license or something.
Yeah, I don't have it.
And again, that was a request that we had, we'd sent something forward. Okay, tells us, look, what do you want to do? And we just got it kicked back at us.
Yes,
We don't like this, rather than saying, we as council want to have a licensed, bonded individual doing the inspections. And the reason we were trying to avoid that, getting somebody that could do it, that wasn't, now you're looking at a much higher inspection fee by getting something like that.
Right, and if they have to do the inspection more than once because you failed, they've got to come back and.
and
know you
that's
did it.
that's addressed in there too, that there could possibly be a $50 charge to revisit.
And that's what we're
I
trying
think
to.
We're,
keep
we're
up.
trying to avoid all
After the
that
second
stuff.
visit, I think the first visit, because you don't know the first time you get.
Right.
What they're gonna tag on, right?
Right.
So I don't think that for the next visit you should be charged. It should be if you don't pass the second time, then you should be charged, right? Because
Well,
You do.
the list is available, so if a property owner is able to go through and review ahead of time, it's not too cumbersome of a list. They wouldn't be able to know whether or not they're gonna fail or not.
Right.
Because we're scheduling the appointments out and
Yeah.
like,
They have time to fix
Like a
everything
2 weeks
before they get
notice.
inspected.
and they can cancel one time.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, they have the opportunity to go through and pick off any of the easy stuff and fix it.
But I failed before because you have somebody in a rental and then they come to inspect and they've taken the batteries out of something
Sure.
or they've broken something. You're like, well, it wasn't broken 5 minutes ago, but so you fail and then they gotta come back.
Right.
And there's just, when you have that tennis, you just don't know always, if it's not empty.
mhm.
That's my only concern there is I've seen that can't happen.
And that's a
Like
valid
you did.
concern. The problem is you still have to pay that individual for going there for the first time.
Yeah.
So,
And,
right.
and our whole concept is we don't want the general fund to finance this
Yeah.
thing. We want this to be a self-sustaining and still keep it reasonably priced for all the landlords in town. Because there's a lot of rentals here in town.
If you take all the rentals and divide it by 3, you know how many you have per year. They should be a contract then. Per year you do, you're inspecting this many homes.
Right? Didn't we figure we have to do between 80 and 90 a year for 3 years, which was like,
Really,
I think we figured like 6 or 7 a month.
But the way that we had it is the individual wasn't necessarily, so the resident actually paid the rental inspection to
Right.
the individual.
Right.
That wasn't coming.
Coming through the village.
right? So we weren't acting as a
Yeah.
flow through.
Right. This isn't a moneymaker.
Right.
This is an
Oh, I don't
inspection.
think they're supposed to pay the inspector directly. They're paying the village as part of their application permit and.
That's what,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
that's what it was. Yeah,
Okay.
for that, yeah, right.
but
Yeah, we were
they
just
pay
trying to
the person
arrange it so
whatever-
that the inspector was not a national employee
Right.
of the village.
We want
That
to
makes
pay them
sense.
for
Right.
inspection,
Right.
but have it come out even, so we're not losing money, we're not making money. It covers its own costs.
Right.
And
Because there is a
do
process.
you know the
here.
driving force behind this? The
I
fire up on High Street where they had nailed doors closed, blocked egress, and somebody died in an upper floor.
And our fire department was dragged through the mud.
Yeah, and it
And it wasn't their fault, I mean, at all.
one of our largest concerns is a single family that's made into a multifamily.
Right.
And we don't know where the main doors are. There's not two
Right.
entrances and exits. It's,
Sometimes we don't even know that a single family was made into a
right.
Yeah. So
Not many,
that's
but-
how all this came about, you know?
Right, and I think it's great. There's gotta be
Well, that's what we've got to come up with
We got
a plan.
Yeah, and we need a good and then, and then there's this little thing called the pandemic that kind of put a brakes on everything, but that just means we're not doing our job, even though we're not able to get people to even come here.
I was
So-
telling the mayor, PMHA, the Portage County only requires 1 smoke detector per level. that's ridiculous.
Mhm.
That's not out of a bedroom, that's not, you could have huge apartment or a huge dwelling and have one, that's not okay. You know, I'd like to see that we've got, ours would supersede,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And it needs to be, there should be smoke detectors in bedrooms, because you close a door in between it, what good does the smoke detector do?
We had somebody review ours that told us that we were
More aggressive.
more aggressive than CMHA, but not as aggressive as, he
PMHA.
said you guys did a really good job. And we spent a lot of time doing it. And try not to step over the line, you know, I mean, we were like, I thought we did a great job personally, but. Okay, so we need to go over backlit signs again and non-conforming section for next month.
Okay, continue working on reviewing the maintenance code. We stopped at 480-12. It's kind of a boilerplate kind of thing as far as I can remember.
I think it was too. It was yard maintenance.
Since we've got everybody here, we'll take a look at it tonight. Everybody there?
Once you got it up,
Yeah, I'm getting there.
I think we might have started going through this a little bit because I have some stuff crossed out and added.
really?
The mayor's
Maybe that was things that you
ground
thought we
surface
should
hazard is
do.
Underlined.
I have stuff
Or-
underlined?
Or I guess it's crossed out. Ground surface hazard is, part of it's crossed out. At any place on the premises.
What was crossed out?
At
She was
any place
down
on the
to, we're
premises,
down
an
to
E.
the bottom, E.
Huh?
I have.
Are you down to E also?
Yeah, I have in the right of way written in, not permitted in the right of way on E. But up on B, number 2, I have grass and weeds where it said on improved lots, I had crossed out where we had said grass and weeds shall be maintained. Not on improved lots. We took improved lots out.
Can I have that
Also,
one
on the new
scratched up,
version-
go out?
How about the-
Did you have that
Well,
one?
no, on the actual new version, it goes grass and weed on improved lots shall be maintained. So unimproved lots should be crossed out.
Well, that's what I
Yeah.
have crossed out.
I agree.
Okay,
my fault.
unimproved lots, take that out, okay. And then the next thing I have is in G or E, obstructions at which are hazardous. I had any place on the premises is scratched out.
Right. And then I
Didn't we
have,
change that to in the right of way?
In the
Isn't
right
that
of
where
way.
it says in
That's
the
what,
right of
I think
Yeah,
that's
it
what
is.
Wes said.
way? Right,
yeah, it says in the right of way.
right.
Using the right of
When
way.
did we last
I don't,
address this? Because I'm going back in time here.
It's been a while.
Hasn't it been like since last fall?
It might have been.
well,
No wonder, because we don't
it
do
was
anything.
probably spring and then we didn't meet in person for a while.
Yeah.
And we had a few meetings where we didn't have enough people here.
Yeah.
And then we had, when we were doing site plan reviews for houses and
Yeah.
stuff,
Yeah.
that took
So it
up the
was
whole
probably-
meeting.
And there was a couple meetings where we had everybody, or one person might have been absent, and we thought that this was something that we want the entire
Everybody.
commission
But
to
Wes
take
had
a
to
look
be
at
here.
and discuss,
Yeah.
and
Sure. So it's
Wes
probably
has to
been
be here.
spring.
So here, you can have this back till we make another change. See? Okay, this just came up at a meeting. Where was I at?
Sidewalk she's talking about, F.
Oh, one of my neighbors, that's where it was, has started walking in the village and wanted to know, while he was talking to JC, wanted to know what the regulations were. And John says, well, we send out letters and we're supposed to tell them that their sidewalk needs repaired. And that's the way it is. And the residents are responsible for their sidewalks. And then you had brought it up about the 45-degree angle, taking your bikes over and do a wheelie or whatever.
Right, yeah.
And I mean, the way I'm reading this is something that planning, and didn't I read that somewhere and we had discussed it where planning is supposed to come up with the letters of people who are supposed to get the letters? Because I had made up a list several years ago and we've never done anything with it. Because nobody ever has any money to replace their sidewalks. But I mean, it reaches a point where it has to be done anyhow.
I had mine done 2 years ago, a part of it. That was-
That's planning's job to notify.
Well,
Didn't
because
I
it's
read
part of the
that somewhere,
maintenance-
Michelle?
Because it's in the maintenance code, so it's,
Is that in the codified that it's planning's job to notify people?
I don't have a copy of codified 1995-25. I knew you did. That's why I said it out loud.
But I thought found somewhere where it was our responsibility to be sending the letters.
I seem to remember something like that.
It wasn't
I mean,
the,
we can
it
do
wasn't the village administrator, it wasn't the zoning inspector, it was planning.
I mean, for a lot of the sidewalks, it's safer to walk in the street than it is on the sidewalks. There's no doubt about that.
Well, and that's what you told him, start walking in the side
Well, yeah.
streets.
That's what I do. It's a rarity when I actually use the sidewalk.
I meet Jeff Van Auken every morning. 5:15, 5:20. I'm going out to the try, I unlock the truck and I light him up in front of my driveway every day. And he just waves, hey, Jeff.
9/13/03, no later than the April council meeting each year, the planning commission shall review areas where sidewalks do not exist. And if deemed necessary, recommend installation of sidewalks for said area. No later than April council meeting of each year, the village administrator shall recommend that your sidewalk repair program and identify the next year's repair program geographical areas.
Oh, so you have till April 2021 to do it now.
So
No later than.
No later than.
No
So I think
later.
there's gotta be a local community that has a sidewalk, layer. Like, I think there's actually a machine that goes out and, just specifically for sidewalks.
You know, I think your mom told me about that
Right,
at
and
one
I
time.
think that it's Twinsburg.
I think you're right.
So I think that it may behoove us to find that, locate it, see if we're able to use it, and perhaps even contract out an aggregate cost, as opposed to having individuals go out and do it separately.
That's what most cities do. I've never seen that machine you're talking about, and I know the service director at Twinsburg.
Yeah.
But, most cities get a contractor to bid,
Right.
and then they pay the contractor's price. Because you'll have 20 or 30 sidewalks, or say 10 or 12 versus one.
Right.
Yeah, that's usually what other cities do.
Well, are you really interested in doing that? Because if you are, I mean, contact somebody or a few people and go street by street.
Did we
And
ever,
just have them throw us a number and see,
did we ever apply for the safe?
Yeah, we
yeah,
did.
but that was,
We did it under three,
Administrations.
yes,
well, it was not,
we've been doing.
rental inspectors ago. It was the young guy that had the kids. I forget his name.
Right. And we even applied
Steve? Yeah.
with,
We did it before him too, though.
It's very hard to get it, especially when you have as much busing as you do in the area. safe routes to schools, and that's even on water, right? Like, we didn't get it, because people were bused to their front doors. And that's our problem here too, we have a significant amount of buses.
We
It
thought,
doesn't hurt to always recheck once in a while to see if
Mhm.
maybe everybody else has finally had the grant and there's monies available. That's usually the problem, the amount of people walking. They do actually do a very in-depth study, and that's worked with you.
Right.
Get that done.
yeah, we've done, yeah, 3
Yeah.
times since we've been on, we've tried it.
It's a very competitive grant.
Because we were thinking down the John Edward Drive, remember? We
I'd
were
like to see
thinking
all
that
of it.
would have been,
Yeah, that was in our plan. It
Yeah.
was taking it up all the way past the cemetery to High Street and then down. And
yeah.
I mean, we applied, but we didn't get it
I mean, we have
because
some-
they had to know how many kids were walking on the sidewalks.
And they actually do counts. They
Well,
go,
none
They
of
go
them.
by the counts. Yeah, right.
Nobody's- Because there's no sidewalk.
exactly.
You know, we'll do it.
Dangerous.
We'll
I
schedule
don't
the,
know about you guys, but
we'll schedule
I'm
the
sure
town
that
on
Scott
Halloween.
had to used to walk to school. He's
I had to
not
walk.
anywhere near my age, but I had to walk.
I had to walk.
I couldn't walk because we didn't have sidewalks, they wouldn't allow us to walk, we had to be bused.
Our girls walk.
I didn't have sidewalks and they said.
Well, but we had a sidewalk,
Actually,
but they
we
said you
walk.
don't have to be bused.
My daughter
I'll walk down the street.
But yeah, never mind. We had to
I had to
walk.
walk, but.
Anybody within the village had to walk. Now they pick them up at the end of their streets or
Well, we used to
whatever.
have the village school right there though, because I'd walk from kindergarten up.
My kids walk.
Yeah, that's.
I had to walk to the high school.
I had to walk to the high school. I used to go up John Edward and cut across the field. Shoes all wet.
But we can give Twinsburg a call. I probably know that
It may
mayor.
not be, it's a local community. It may not be Twinsburg, I don't know.
Just trying to think
No,
what kind of special
your
machine
mom
we
had
have.
given me a list
Form-
and
forms
I
and
tried to take
concrete
care of
truck.
the apple tree thing.
Right.
And nobody will own up to who owns
Oh,
the
that,
property.
right.
So the village went and trimmed it back, but now it needs done again.
Right.
Sharon just did
So,
sidewalks, but I don't know
but
how
she
many
had
of
given, I still have that note on my desk. And
Good.
if she ever says anything, I didn't get rid of it.
No.
I tried to
Oh,
address it,
yeah.
but
Brady Lake
Yeah.
Golf Club.
the car the
Doing them just this couple weeks ago.
Sudgy Duds says it's
The
Mrs.
Neighbors.
The
yeah.
neighbors, and the neighbor says, no, it's Sudgy Duds.
So I'm gonna cut it down and spray Roundup on it.
Oh, I'll join you. I used to hit, yeah, I hate that tree.
And-
It's ridiculous.
And we trimmed it back this spring, and boy, it's just,
I'll come and help.
Well,
If you want to do it in the cover of darkness.
trees and shrubs, all
You're on
trees,
video.
shrubs, or plants shall be trimmed of dead, decayed, or broken portions therefore, and grass and weeds shall be, okay, it doesn't really address that.
It just made national news.
Okay, does anybody see anything else that they want to change there? Does anybody actually have all the notes that? of all-
Those are the only notes I have. I don't have any notes on 7. And I have no notes.
I
on
think
8.
if we look back at our minutes, anytime we made a change, I typed it on, I typed them in the minutes, so.
Okay.
So we should be able to either bring up the old minutes online, or I can pull them from downstairs. Because I remember, that's how we did it when we did signage. Every time we made a change, and I
Make
would,
a note.
I had a note on our minutes.
I do know, somebody who is in very significant violation of the weed, portion of this. And it's the park.
You're in B2?
And JC says that too,
It's ridiculous.
and so he and I are gonna go down, and I saw where Ashley was asking the Parks Committee, but if they
Right.
do, then we have to advertise that they're gonna walk at the park,
Oh,
because it's a
Well,
violation of the sunshine law then.
okay. But I think, and I'll start coming to the parks meeting as well, but that needs to be addressed. It's up to Logan's shoulders.
And I guess I don't know where.
In the actual park, underneath the swings, underneath that metal climbing thing, by the slides, the weeds are just out of control.
Okay,
There's a stump over by, on the right side by that driveway that goes down through there. a large stump. If that was in a tree line, we'd make them remove it and charge them to do it. That park is in significant violation of the property maintenance code.
Okay.
Okay.
The blue building, the Scout building, the roof on that, if we saw that driving down the road, it'd be against the property maintenance code. It needs addressed. It's just,
Okay.
yeah.
Is that something we should have our guys tackle first before we call the mower?
I don't even know what you're talking about, so I'll have to take a look at
I
it.
mean,
The
when
park's been
I,
open forever, and maybe that's why, but I don't know why they
right,
would leave it.
well, yeah, because
Yeah.
he tells me when he walks,
There
he
was
says,
weeks and weeks where it wasn't trimmed.
Yeah.
I mean, you could barely see the fence, split
Right.
rail fence out front.
and he's been trimming underneath the baseball thingies and,
Oh, the mower,
and-
yeah.
and
Okay.
around the split rail fence. Now, I never thought probably because I don't have kids,
Right.
Wes, that's probably why,
Right.
to even look over at the playground to see that
It's-
there's weeds over there.
So beyond that, and just while we're having, well, I guess this would fit into property maintenance code. The picnic tables, there's sections where there's no bench to sit on. It's ridiculous.
Somebody took them because they had all benches. when I
We
was
just,
down
we
there.
just,
We
the
replaced-
new
we
ones
just
have
replaced
no
the
New ones or the
benches?
old ones?
I guess, well, they're older.
The old
Okay.
concrete ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're not,
Isn't that for,
they're not
He had
pavilion,
no-
No,
they're out.
right. No, they're
Oh,
out.
the ones outside,
Yeah.
okay.
The Mary Ann.
It's,
Marianne?
isn't that for a wheelchair when there's no bench?
then they need to remove the bolts because the bolts are still there. If they want to make that handicap accessible, they're gonna need to mow the grass shorter and make sure there's no bolts
Yeah, I
where
think
where the wood's supposed to be.
you can,
John, I think the answer to that is any of the old concrete
Break
ones,
them up, get them out of there.
Get 'em
Yeah,
out of there,
it should
yes.
be there.
I
Because
thought, I
There
thought
wasn't a
that-
board missing when I went and measured for the last part thing, so that's been 4 or 5 weeks ago. So in that interim, somebody broke one or was
Okay.
missing because they are so old.
Right.
I'll just get them out
right, and I thought we got rid of all the old ones. I thought, because
there. And they're broken. when
people
you get 'em, so
volunteered
I-
like $100 or something,
Okay.
and they have their names on
Right, I
them.
saw that. The
Under
nice
the
wood ones.
pavilion.
Those are nice.
Right, and I thought all the other ones were
Yeah.
taken away,
And then,
that were not,
yeah, we're gonna
fully-
need to also address that brick structure.
That,
That's gotta go. It looks like it's in the middle of a
I'm
war zone. It's
totally with you.
ridiculous.
unfortunately, I think isn't that a
An Eagle Scout
federal
project.
memorial?
Oh, is it? I thought it was an Eagle Scout project.
That brick structure, it's on the far west side of the park, but it's between the west pavilion and the playground. Right, Wes? Isn't that where it would
Yeah,
be?
I'm pulling it up right
The
now.
west pavilion and the playground? I think years and years and years ago, it had a flagpole and a bench in it. It's been
okay,
painted, the top was ripped off of it, the stone, I think it had a stone cap on it that somebody took years
Wow,
ago,
okay.
threw it in the river.
Yeah,
Big
it's,
tree.
I don't know how those bricks got so, I don't know if eroded's the right word, but how the bricks, they're just eaten away.
Yeah, they are.
It's, yeah, no, it's,
It's terrible.
yeah.
okay.
It's just a wall. I mean, it's
Okay.
like a curve, is it curved or segmented
It's
now? I don't
curved and there's a
remember.
bench in the middle.
where's it at now?
You know where the
So
farthest
it's-
west pavilion
Yeah.
is? It's next to the factory.
It's this thing.
Yeah, he's got it up on, it's next to it's between the pavilion and the playground.
But it doesn't look like this. This is when it looked better. It's in rough shape.
I guess I only see it from the
Okay.
walking trail side.
Yeah.
I didn't realize there was a bench in it.
Okay,
Yeah. There used to be a flagpole and
I think there's
There's
still a pole
there's
in
a
it.
light pole on it.
okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
For
I
some
know that
reason,
there's
I
a
wanna
plaque
say
out
I
there
thought it
for
was a
somewhere
memorial.
for,
Well,
Somebody
Mr.
built
Merle
it as a
Benner.
That's
memorial.
underneath
I
the
don't-
tree by the
oh,
playground.
okay,
But it's these benches here that are, or these,
Yeah,
that
it
are
is
rough.
old, but I thought it was built for something.
okay, so that's basically the concrete one.
Yeah, they're outside of the pavilion.
Right, yes,
Yeah,
the ones
yeah.
in the pavilion are very nice.
Okay,
Yeah, they had like company names on them and they're in good shape.
just have the guys go down with the
But,
front end loader
you
or
know,
whatever it
Told
takes
me
to,
before to get rid of them, so I will make sure.
I would say that, look, this is Google Maps, right? So this isn't obviously live, but look at the weeds climbing up this.
Okay,
This is what we need to address.
Right.
Because we're in direct,
okay,
we're in direct competition with Sunny Lake, we're in direct competition with Ravenna,
okay.
and this is,
I,
I mean, this is greater than 9 inches, so it's a
Okay.
violation.
okay. That, in the playground area that's gravel, the mower doesn't mow there, so our guys should be,
Why is that included in the contract? It should be. It's a park.
I think
right, but it's all gravel.
Oh, it's in the gravel.
It's all gravel, it's all in the pea gravel around the playground equipment.
Yeah.
He doesn't mow there.
And then,
You can't spray around it because the kids.
right. I think that there's some type of plastic barrier under it, and the only reason I say that is these weeds come up really easy, like you just pull them up, they're not rooted, they're really
Okay.
shallow roots. But yeah, I mean, the park benches.
Yeah, we
there's
can't
weeds
ask the
coming up
mower to
through the
do
park
that. He's
benches.
mowing and weed
See if
with it.
there's an Eagle Scout
And
that needs a
so that's
project.
more than 9 inches when it's coming up through the park benches.
Okay.
Yeah, the picnic tables, I can understand where he's. That's,
New part-time, I don't think you do.
But then we need to get that stump removed as well.
Now, and where was that one was?
Stump is right next to the
oh,
driveway
the
going
big
through.
tree that had the bees in it that fell, yes. I didn't,
And it looks like there's a hole that goes down deep, so if some animal's not living in there, I'd be surprised.
okay. If I recall, our guys cut that tree down because it was in the park and there wasn't anything
But
around.
next time we have
instead
a stump grinder in the village, we might just say, hey, can you do this?
Is it really rotten?
Well, yeah. Well, I wouldn't say, the top's not necessarily rotten, but
Oh,
there's a hole in it that's this big. Some kid's gonna jump on it and they're gonna
of fall in.
break an ankle.
Yeah, they were, we just had all those 16 ash trees cut down on the trail there and he ground up the stumps
Yeah,
because he didn't want to leave something to trip over.
yeah, that's a good idea.
If I would have realized about that,
Yeah,
Sure.
oh, why didn't you tell me a week ago,
I
Wes?
should have.
He wasn't here.
I wasn't here.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
there you
Oh,
go.
and while I'm just being nitpicky,
Okay, that's not new,
There's
but go ahead.
there's a wood structure that is right here next to this sign. I don't know if the old merry-go-round used to be over top of it or not, but it's a tripping hazard. It's a square. Looks like it was an old sandbox or something, but it's just, well, it's not, I mean, it's, from me to you, square. So it's a good size, but it's down in the ground. So just, you might have to
So
guys
the
take a look
lip's
at
there
that.
and you just don't see it.
Yeah.
And somebody like me would trip on it, yeah.
That's the weeds are
Right.
fine.
And then that blue building is in violation in more than one way.
Well, that's a case of
That's the
talking
Derby,
to the, I was gonna say Brown Derby,
Yeah.
soapbox Derby.
Soapbox
Yeah.
Derby, because they have a contract with us and they're supposed to maintain it.
Well, they're not.
I guess I need to get a hold of Dean Olson.
Yeah.
Look at that. It's like third tier up on.
Okay, we're moving on.
Okay, you ready to move, Wes?
I'm ready.
We passed
I
the
mean, but I
grass?
do want it noted that we are in violation.
Okay. Got that, Mary Ann? Wes says we're in violation at the park of the maintenance code.
Got it.
Okay, Mass Road Bridge.
Oh, are we, oh,
Yeah, we're just moved, yeah, old
Oh,
business.
why, I mean, we're done with, we're
Well,
stopping?
We got done with F, and that's it,
Okay.
right? Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's not.
Oh, you
Do we
didn't
want-
read the rest?
Do we want to stop it?
I mean, yeah, it's up to,
I mean, it's 8:15 now.
It's one more page. I mean, you guys, I read it. I thought you guys did.
Two more.
Two more. Okay, let's do it.
Okay,
Well, you're really not gonna change anything after 480, 100. I mean, that's kind of tell us the limitations.
So you had nothing in
The abandoned structures, 4013.
I didn't see any, and I don't have any notes on it either, so.
Yeah, we already do that.
Mhm.
Let's see, there's kind of. Doesn't that kind of address what we tried to pass in council?
I don't know what you're talking about.
When we sent the legislation to council about people up here on High Street behind West. You start in Stokowski's house and it rolls down into the electric guy's house, and then it goes into Pemberton's house, and it goes into the next house. And then there's the pipe that is in all their backyards that comes out across from Bill Solar. That the rain running off because
right.
of people not profiling their
Well,
yards correctly.
this is talking more about no grass kind of thing, I think. Any
Okay,
such lot should be provided with gas or appropriate ground cover to prevent the rapid runoff of surface
Oh,
water. So
okay.
that
Okay.
doesn't do that.
okay.
Anyway,
What section are you guys on right now?
480, 100.
Okay, so council's been derelict in, because I don't believe there's a property maintenance advisory board, is there?
There's not,
What's council been doing, anything?
no, we really don't. We just listen to whatever planning says.
Okay. So really, we should stress that. Of course, it'll be tough finding anybody to
Be on it.
be on it, so they would push it back to planning anyhow.
Perhaps it should just be planning.
Perhaps it should. I mean, it has been for years. I mean, we've
That's-
tried to
Right.
pick away at those things.
Yeah, but what I don't like is whenever you guys decide something, I end up doing the work.
That's why you make the big bucks. You make those little tiny dollars a month. You make the great big money.
Well, some of us don't even make it.
Thank you, Wes.
Oh.
I'm glad you're thinking of us.
Haven't you been getting, weren't you getting the 7-Eleven?
No, no.
I call it the 7-Eleven, you know, you get $110 a month on unemployment, and then you're getting a week, I mean, and then the $600.
There you go. I like it. Not a bad deal.
Well, the mayor makes the appointment of the board, so I mean,
Oh, but I'd have to have council interview everybody.
no, it doesn't. The board shall be appointed by the mayor and shall meet at the request of the zoning inspector. It doesn't say anything about council.
Okay.
So I mean, we can either leave that alone or change the verbiage, so it's the planning commission.
I'm fine with that.
What, leave it the way it is?
Allowing it to go through the planning commission.
Well, somebody has to.
Yeah.
This hasn't been enforced since they wrote the law. Or
Well,
since they
That's
made
because
the
everybody
ordinance.
was afraid to, because everybody was so up in arms about it.
Yeah.
Go ahead, because I'm only going to be on the mayor for 3 more years,
Well,
and
then
then
let's-
somebody else will have to do it,
Let's
so.
rewrite.
There's term limits are there that
Pisha. I'm not listening to that nonsense.
I'm not running again, I'm telling you.
There shall be. Somehow we just need to word it where it says there shall be and is hereby created by the property maintenance board, that it's taken care of by the planning commission. I don't know.
Oh, all right.
Can you
That's what we did in
Can you-
Garrettsville too.
verbalize that for
Actually,
us?
Garrettsville took this, the one that Mantua passed, and they like whittled it way down, and they did that.
Why didn't we whittle ours down more?
You want to take Garrettsville's and whittle theirs down, make it yours?
We can do
Let
it.
the maintenance go?
Yeah.
So they took Manaways and whittled it down and made it
Yeah, I
theirs?
brought them Manaways and they said, well, this is very detailed. Let's hack away at a lot of it. All right, so you.
Well,
want,
if we took Garrettsville's and showed it to Wes, he'd wheedle it back up.
Probably.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, let's leave ours.
Yeah.
We've made
Were you
some
on planning,
changes.
Wes?
I was
when you
on
did
council when we did this.
this? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, I was on planning.
you were on planning at that point, with Jim Rogers.
Yep.
Yeah, that's when the village hall gutters had trees growing
Right.
out of them. And
Yeah,
Did you
That's
take
when
care of
planning
yours?
didn't do anything.
that's right. Well, you know, it's a proud tradition.
Okay, Michelle's got it.
Yeah, I'll bring that next one.
Okay.
yeah, I mean, 1, 2, and 3. We need to just fix it.
Tear that part down. Wes won't tear that apart. He'll only tear it apart if there's grass growing.
Right.
And that's fine.
And the rest of that is actually just part of the legislation.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So we don't need to.
But I think that we do need to start being more proactive in it.
Well, I do too. I
Looks
mean,
like we're done, huh?
we-
Got another section done.
I know, I mean, and we've tried, but you know, John can't.
Oh, I'm
you know,
not,
with
I'm
all
not
this-
just saying.
No, I
with
mean,
John,
I'm just
yeah.
saying, with all this going on, it's not like you can go out and
Yeah.
make personal appearances, you
Yeah.
know?
It's, we've always really been doing it the more neighborly way, you know, if the neighbor has a complaint, then we'll address it at that point. Yeah. And then
Yeah.
if John sees something that's egregious, we'll address it, but
Yeah, but somebody sitting in this room with this very bright shirt on, I think, about a year ago said, there doesn't need to be a complaint.
right?
So
Yeah,
it
that's
just
kind
needs to
of,
be a
the
violation. I mean,
easy
it
way
doesn't
was
need to
if
be a
somebody
written
complained, you
complaint.
dealt with it. Otherwise, you, unless it was blatantly jumping out at you, you ignored it.
Yeah.
Well, and we can't do that anymore.
Yeah, we just can't, we can't keep doing, we can't keep kicking the can down the
Especially
road.
when you see how much work Tom Ressler's slowly doing on his house. I mean, he's got his porch done, he's got
Something's
the
happening,
porch
that's
painted.
What matters, but you know, we
There's
didn't have anything
movement.
to do with that.
Huh?
We didn't have anything.
Oh,
to
that's
do with
right.
that.
John handled it all. He sent him the letter. Michelle sent him to court, that's right.
Three times.
Yeah, but I'm the one that went down there and took all the pictures, remember?
Yeah.
One arm, and my arm in a sling.
Klutz. Okay, now are we
Oh,
moving on?
geez, let's
Now
move
we're
on.
moving
Match Road Bridge, any updates?
No,
No.
Good.
let's, I'm gonna leave it there just so we don't forget about it.
Well, didn't Rich say last night, I mean, he still has his eyes on it. I mean,
Yeah.
he's still looking for stuff, so.
Yeah.
We'll just, unless he's done with the village, you know.
Yeah, we'll see.
He'll keep it in this. He'll keep looking.
Okay,
I mean, Rich,
Yeah.
yeah, he brought it up last night. so.
Yeah.
okay. And Orchard Street's moving, right? I know it's
It
not on the
started.
agenda.
We just signed paperwork for it today.
Okay, so that'll kind of be out of our bailiwick. Zoning maintenance, I think we covered everything.
I wasn't sure, was I supposed to take Scott Angle off lawn and house?
He's off, but he'll be back on again.
Yeah,
Don't take it
Don't
off.
take it off.
No.
okay,
He does some parts, and he did all the sidewalk driveway and cut his grass, and then the
Right.
screen was fine, then it's ripped again, so.
and
The vines are
Franklin
growing
Street and
through his
First Street
windows.
have both received letters from the building department, but we haven't heard anything
No.
Right.
back from them.
East
Open
Prospect, Lucas Randall. What property is that?
That,
That's
that,
down over
that's
the hill?
Wentz's old house on the curve.
Down on the
by-
hill, okay.
And you've sent the letter to the last one?
Oh,
Typed it up to be sent off, got to check.
okay.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Canada Road property.
Right.
Okay,
We all have our task for next month.
What's that?
Yeah.
I've got all my tasks for tomorrow morning.
And
anybody?
keep your ears peeled for a rental inspector. I mean, if we can talk to somebody else, let's talk to somebody else.
There's no reason not to keep the pipeline full on that, and then
Yeah.
put so many signs.
Yeah, I mean, if we can.
I mean, I'm still not comfortable sending somebody into somebody's house right now.
No, but it
I
would be
mean-
nice to
Right.
get some more
Yeah,
quotes, you
yeah.
know, I mean, get another feel for different
Well, like I
companies.
said, we did get several letters, but they weren't,
They weren't qualified.
it would be like me saying, oh yeah, I'll do it for $100.
I mean, there's
Okay.
companies out there, you know, if council wants bonded licensed
Yeah.
individuals, there's companies out there that do this for a living.
And we can't do it for 6 months, that just lets all the landlords know, hey, we got 6
Right.
months to.
Or do you think we're gonna leave it go like we did the maintenance code and we're determined we're not going to?
Yeah, and we told, I mean, everybody that came, we told them, we said, listen, we're not springing anything on anybody. I mean, you're gonna have fair warning, believe me. And
Right.
It's gonna take us a long time to even get the ball rolling. So, you know,
Yeah, because in December, when we finally passed the legislation, we said, in May is when we'll start.
yeah,
That gives us time to find a person to handle the inspections. And he'll start calling everybody and giving them notice, and then the COVID hit.
yeah, then the world changed.
So, yeah. Not a sign.
Okay, anything else, anybody? No, motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All are in favor.
Aye.
Aye,
That's everybody.
You want a sign?
bye, Mary Ann.
Night, Mary Ann.
He's waiting by.
Bye.
You, Mary Ann.